Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
Don't cry, dude. We only missed a week.
Oh no. Uh,
How about the fact that we didn't miss the week that I got the vaccine, but we missed the week after?
you know what it was is because I think you were like there was a lot going on. Yeah, and you really forced doing that episode.
Yeah, we did.
We got to get this episode.
Yeah, we did it. It was
and it just fucked up.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like to me we missed anything.
No, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Because it kind of just feels like last week we also did a podcast.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
You know what I mean?
But you know what sucked about last podcast? YouTube.
Oh yeah.
YouTube sucks.
Yeah.
Like we're doing
YouTube.
How do all these like video reaction videos exist on YouTube, and we just did the same exact thing, and they shut us down for copyright infringement?
I think you can react to other content, like video content.
Yeah.
But it can't be like things that are. I listened to Rick Rubin talk about this actually.
Yeah. What does he have to say?
Everything is
my fellow Long
He says
Islander.
like, yeah, these algorithms, just kind of like the way that the system works now is it's just like everything is. I'm searching for the right word here, but like patent, like every little sound.
Yeah.
So like
we had that
he
shit
said
pretty
recently.
Low, though. I thought we were
clear. No, it'll pick up like I mean, yeah.
Yo, and somehow my work continues to get ripped off and no one gives a shit.
Yeah. NFTs are going to change that.
Oh
NFTs.
My God. I hope NFTs put Instagram out of business.
Yeah. No, Instagram probably owns NFTs.
That's true. They probably do. They own our souls, actually.
Yeah. No, Rick Rubin was making an interesting point. He said that, like, you know, a lot of like, I mean, this kind of leads into some questions here, but like a lot of 90s hip hop or like just hip hop in general sampled everything.
Yeah.
So everything was sampled.
Right.
But now you see like a lot of like outrage recently where people are coming out being like, yo, this guy just stole this record from this era. And it's like, yeah, that's sampling.
Yeah.
But people like all of a sudden kind of forgot that that's what hip hop originally was sampling all these sounds. But people are getting hit.
But it's okay. I think it's totally cool when someone samples something and builds on top of it. I think it sucks when someone takes something and just uses it with no creative, like process with it at all. Like if someone took my shit and like reworked it and turned it into like some new design or something like that, I'd be like, that's pretty sick. That's cool. That's creative. That's interesting. I like that I was a part of some other process, But if someone just took my shit and just like changed the word, which happens all the time, that's when it's annoying. Well, what did I say to you the other day about the algorithm? That I'm like, I used to hate the algorithm, but now I'm kind of psyched.
Yeah, you like it now.
I like it now because it's just like for a minute there, everyone's life just got like a lot easier. They're like, hey, all I have to do to get work is just post on Instagram, and you were getting all these fucking hacky designers who like just like learned how to rip off a couple of people on the internet, and then you have like people hiring them off of Instagram, and they completely don't deserve it. And the funny thing is I remember there was a few clients that hired some of these people to do work, and then they came to me and they were like, yeah, I worked with so-and-so. They have a huge Instagram following, blah, blah, blah. But they were totally unprofessional. They didn't really know how to do anything besides the stuff that they post and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, because they're fucking 12 years old and they never actually did this before. They're just like good at mimicking something and then just like posting like 14 times a day so that it's always in your face.
Yeah.
So now that the algorithm came in and it just like shows me like news events from 4 days ago over and over again, like it's just not, you can't, like I know a lot of artists and shit complain that their stuff doesn't get seen, and mine hasn't been seen in years, so it's like I get it, but like at the same time it kind of levels the playing field a little bit, and like some people have to actually work hard to have people see their shit, which is like unheard of for some people.
Yeah, it's weird how, I mean, I would be a hypocrite to say that I'm not like, I don't get angry about the fact that like, why am I not getting this when this
Right.
person got it? And
Right.
it's like, well, I also haven't been working long enough to really it be justified, but Instagram did kind of ruin that a little bit
Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, uh, I don't know. I think I'm okay. I'm okay with the algorithm too. I hope
Yeah.
it
And
just ruins everything.
I'll be glad to see it go. I mean, especially of the past few years, man, social media has just become a never-ending source of stress for most people.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking let it go. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? I like I promoted a post. I'll say
Yeah,
it. I promoted a post.
you did.
And you were telling me don't do it. Like
Yeah.
it actually gets less engagement. The natural engagement stopped the minute I promoted it,
Yeah.
and it got no engagement.
Yep.
So I paid to kill my own post. I'm like, whoa, it's dead. Like,
I tried to promote a post one time, and it was just like I forget what it was. It was maybe for like the workshop or something when I started the workshop, or maybe it was just to see like how it would go. And I'm
yeah,
sure I know that a lot of people do this, and that there's a certain way to do it. But this was my first time doing it, and it was just like okay, how much do you want to spend on
yeah,
this post, right? So it was like, do you want to spend $5? If you spend $5, 500 to 1,000 people will see it. If you spend
yeah,
$10, and this is what it goes. It's like the more you spend, the more the more people should see it, right? So,
yeah,
but mine was just like, if you spend $10, 500 to 1,000 people will see it. If you spend $20, 500 to 1,000 people will see it. I was like, whoa, 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 wait a second. So like, I ended up putting in like $1,000 to see what it would go to, and it didn't change the amount of people that were going to see the post.
Oh, I panicked right there for you. I thought you spent a thousand
No, no, no,
dollars.
no, no. Fuck them.
Yeah. Like, do you know what Zetterberg's doing right now with that $1,000? Oh no.
He just added it to his bring Satan to Earth fund.
Yeah. No, he is Satan.
He's not cool enough to be Satan.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's no like metal bands in the 80s that are going like Hail Zuckerberg. You know what I mean? He's fucking like he's like on some like weird like demon tier.
He's so under the radar that he's definitely Satan.
You think so?
Yeah.
I would be
under
so
the radar.
disappointed if that was Satan.
Yeah. Yeah.
For like a lifetime
like
of listening to like death metal, if that was Satan, I would just be like, really? All
He's
those
like
Cannibal
Satan's
Corpse
minion.
records for this?
Yeah. This guy? Wait, everybody prayed to this guy?
Morbid Angel lied to me all these years.
Do you think that because I just watched The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
And it's like,
God.
yeah, but all these apps and things like that, they're not like actually bad. It's the fact that like people kind of suck, and so we gravitate towards like bad posts and
yeah, everybody loves a train wreck, and we live in a 24/7 train wreck.
yeah. I mean, if you want to see that, right? And
oh man, though? If I'm using any type of social media and I'm like for some reason I'm like into it, I'm like, you know what, I can curate this to be interesting.
Yeah,
something shitty always creeps up in there, and it just always diverts your attention, and you're always just like, wait, what was that? What happened? Something that you don't want to see will find its way in there, and it'll be like, hey, you sure you don't want to see this?
Dude, I was just telling you how I watched Social Dilemma, and I realized like they explain how it's like kind of your choice to like look away from those things that like make you angry and things like that, because the more you just look at them, the more the algorithm just feeds you that, because it's like, oh, you stopped on this post for longer than you stopped on like the little rabbit post.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I watched that show, and then I instantly got into a fight with somebody on social media about what they were posting. So I didn't learn my lesson.
No.
At all.
No, you had it coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Should we should we jump into the hot minute?
Yeah, speaking of Satan.
This is the hot minute.
Love it. Fucking theme with a little cat meowing at the ends.
We'll probably hear those cats again. this episode.
Oh my god.
Why do New Yorkers love bagels so much?
My god, I do love bagels so much. They're delicious. People don't understand because I've had bagels outside of New York and there's no, like it's just bread. Like I get it. Like who gives a fuck? But in New York, it's not just bread. It is not just bread.
Okay, because I was gonna say it's just bread.
It's
That was
not.
gonna be my.
It is not. Next time you come here and you don't come to see me, you should get a bagel. I'll tell you where to go. I won't meet you there. Eat the bagel and you'll see the difference.
Yeah, we were supposed to get bagels.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
I didn't get bagels the entire time I was in New York.
That's a shame.
Because I thought it was just bread with missing some.
It's
in the middle.
no, it's not. No, it's bread and then some. It's fuck. I could live on bagels every day, and I have.
Was
in
it a
the
donut?
past. It's not a donut. No, it's like bagels are not so. Okay, a good bagel is not supposed to be light and airy. A good bagel is supposed to be fucking dense. Like
Like rye bread?
when you get a dozen bagels, right, from like a bagel store, and you take that bag, because this is what I don't know. This is a New York thing. I don't know. You get a dozen bagels. People are over. You're eating breakfast together or whatever. Like say like, it's a family event or whatever. People sleep over. People come over for breakfast. Something like that. You get
Never
a dozen
done that.
bagels. It's a very normal thing to do in New York.
Yeah.
You get the bag. It's in a fucking paper bag. You drop it on the table, and it's just like, boom. You know what I mean? Like it is weighted. It is heavy, and you open up that bag, and it smells so good. And you reach in, and it's a doughy, thick, dense bagel. You cut that shit in half, and you start putting stuff on it, and it is an experience that never gets old.
To me, it doesn't sound very good. I'll have
It
to
is
look
good.
up a New York bagel recipe.
No,
or
you're not
something
going to
like
be able
that.
to do it because you need New York water.
Oh,
You need New York water because it's very specific to the type of water that it is. And get this, and if you don't believe that, so I have a cousin that took a job. This was maybe in the 70s or something. I know my mom's going to be listening to this, so she'll correct me like later on. But like, he took a job driving a tanker truck filled with New York water to a guy who moved to the New England area, like New Hampshire or Vermont or something, to open up a New York bagel store. And every day he would truck New York water all the way up, hours into New England, so that this guy could make bagels with New York water. And he was the only place in that whole area that made good bagels because he had the water.
why didn't he just pollute his own water?
Because you need the essence of 10 million people to really get that true pollution taste. You know what I mean?
There's just not enough people in Vermont.
It's not enough.
Yeah. Oh man, that's I mean, I feel like that's probably pretty true. That you would need the water.
Yeah, well, because it's like whatever the minerals and shit are, because it's like the water comes from reservoirs that are like slightly upstate from the city. So it's whatever like the natural minerals and shit are that are in the water that come from the reservoirs into the city to make the bagels. And then when they boil the bagels or whatever, it's some kind of chemical fucking process. I don't know how it works. If I did, I would replicate it all over the world and be a fucking trillionaire, but I don't. So, and I don't really.
You just need those little three-eyed Simpson fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, this question I'm confused by.
Yeah.
Did you see the second apartment hidden behind the girl's mirror?
Okay, so in Manhattan, there was a girl who posted something online. She was doing work in her apartment, and she had a mirror. I think it was in a bathroom. And she went to take the mirror off because she was redoing shit, painting or doing whatever she was doing. And behind the mirror, there was a hole in the wall. So she stuck her head in the hole in the wall to see what was back there. And there was an entire apartment behind there. An entire empty, vacant, untouched apartment behind
her apartment.
Yes.
And so she moved in? Or what?
No,
What
well,
happened?
it was just filled with bodies.
What?
No, it wasn't. But wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, yeah.
You got excited for a
That
second.
sounds more reasonable.
You,
Yeah. They found the place.
you were like, wait, my wife did what?
Wait, when I was in New York, I was in Manhattan.
Yo, but it's so funny though, because like we were with my sister-in-law over the weekend, helping her look for apartments, and it was, well, first of all, it was weird because it was like the first time I was really walking around the city, since forever, and I was telling you too, like in the whole city, I think I saw 3 people that didn't have a mask on, which was awesome. So like,
Did you see a lot of people with masks like around their chin?
no, everyone was like really responsible. I have to say, everyone in the city was super responsible, and it was really like the first time I really spent just kind of like walking around, and we went in, and some of these, I forget because like I moved out of the city to buy a house and have a family and shit like that, so it's like you forget how small apartments in New York are, and
Yeah.
if you were in an apartment in New York and you opened up a hole in your bathroom to see an apartment behind your bathroom filled with dead bodies, the first thought you think is, all right, I got to bust a hole open. I got to truck out these dead bodies, and I'm not going to tell the landlord that I found this, and I'm just going to set this up as an extra room in my apartment. Like, the dead bodies are such an afterthought because you're like, finally, I have a space to put a couch.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. People are going to come over and watch the game at my place now.
Wait, so I can have a bedroom that's not the kitchen? All right, I'll do it.
I always thought that was funny when they would show like on Friends and things like that, the
Yeah.
apartments, and I'd always hear like
So
that's
unrealistic.
so not realistic, or like
Yes,
Seinfeld even.
So unrealistic.
Yeah,
It's
like
because
room.
you in a typical like Manhattan apartment that a normal person would have, you open the door and then you're standing in the kitchen. You're standing right in the kitchen, right? Or you're standing right in the living room. And then you turn right and then you're in the kitchen. Or you turn left and then you're in the bedroom. And that's if you have a bedroom, And then you go, like we saw this one apartment where the kitchen was it was like the front of the apartment was actually pretty decent. It had like double doors, like double French doors. It opened up to the bedroom that had like a window facing the street. And then you go through and there's like the living room. But then you get to the kitchen and the kitchen was literally 10 inches wide. So like you had to walk sideways through the kitchen to get to it. And then I think the stove had like burn marks on it. Like it had already been on fire once. And then right next to the stove that was on fire was the bathroom. You open up the bathroom door, and the only way you can use the toilet or take a shower is by like squeezing in the 6 inches of space between the door and the sink to get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's that's what you deal with. So whenever you see like some shit on TV where it's just like, oh, here's my New York apartment, it's like super cool and there's a balcony and there's all this shit. It's like, nah, that's only for rich people.
That reminds me of the Beastie Boys talking about their apartment that they lived in together.
Yeah.
And it was like the toilet and the bathtub was in the middle of the apartment.
Yeah.
There was no rooms. I'm like, whoa.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote in, they said, quiz Brent on 90s hip hop.
It's really funny because here's two things, right? Number one, you were born in the 90s. So technically you really shouldn't know much about that, but you do because you like hip hop.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, everyone assumes I like hip hop for some reason. I don't know why that is. Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I was always more of a metal, punk, and hardcore kind of guy. I never, there's little bits and pieces here and there that I picked up along the way, but it's so, like, we went to, I think this was like last week maybe. There's this restaurant by us that had this big outdoor seating area, and all these seats were all separated, and they all had like little fire pits. So like everyone got their own little fire pit to sit next to, which was super cool. And these fucking people came, and they were nice, and they were just like excited to talk to someone because like you were getting a little daring now because we got the vaccine. So we're like, oh, we can go out, you know?
Yeah.
So we're like sitting and we're still outdoors and we still have masks on or whatever. So it's still totally fine. But like we were talking to these people and this guy started talking about Hootie and the Blowfish. And he was like, yo, Hootie and the Blowfish is so good. It's so good. So, and then he like looked at me. He's like, you ever listen to it? I was like, no. And he's like, oh, but I like hip hop too. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what does that mean?
He looked at you and were like, hip hop guy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what to think about that, you know?
Were you wearing a New York hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's what gives it away.
That's
Everyone
the dead
sees,
giveaway. He's just like, what,
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z's cousin?
Yeah. Exactly what it is. Yeah, I would assume you liked hip hop.
Why? Because I'm from New York? Is that the only reason why? Like, I don't know.
No, the aesthetic of like street art and stuff like that.
I guess.
Well, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
What are the 5 pillars of hip hop?
I have no idea.
Breakdancing, art, the street art.
I have no fucking idea, man. Because punk and hardcore have like the same fucking pillars, essentially.
Yeah.
They both come from the same place. Like they literally both come from the same place.
Did you see, and this might already be out, but I'm assuming this is coming out, is the CBGB's movie?
No, tell me about this.
Oh, I just seen a trailer for like the CBGB's movie. I had no idea. I don't, you know what? I hate Googling things, but
this is
CB.
I don't think I know about this.
I think it's coming out. I believe CBGB's film. Oh, whoa, no, it came out in 2013.
Oh, maybe I did see it then. This is like
I didn't realize what CBGB stood for.
Oh yeah,
country, bluegrass.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, well, because it was so old, you know, like punk rock didn't exist yet, and then it kind of just got like, it became the birthplace of it, essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is cool.
And now it's a fucking denim store.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a John Varvatos store.
I don't even know who John Varvatos is.
John Varvatos it's like this brand where it's just like leather jackets and fucking denim jeans or whatever. And it's like whatever clothes. But it's like a shame that the city didn't protect it as kind of like a landmark or like turn it into a museum or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Keep that bathroom not pristine.
Dude, exactly. Keep that bathroom exactly how it is. Yo,
yeah.
You know what, though? Maybe it's for the best because if that bathroom was left any longer, like it probably would have grown another race of being.
It would have grown COVID-19.
Yeah.
That's where COVID-19 started, actually.
Yeah. COVID 79.
So I also, I guess you're right. Like the birthplace of those two things. Like you like hardcore, but hip hop is very, very, very closely related to like those underground scenes.
It's so similar in aesthetics and people, you know,
yeah.
Like it's very much well, at least like kind of like the origins of it too. Like maybe not so much today. Like both are pretty overproduced today. But like the original versions of both were very raw, very emotional, very DIY, very street based, very art based, you know, very kind of like you didn't have to be Jimi Hendrix or like Eric Clapton, like ultimate like talents to be able to play it, you know, like you didn't have to be like virtuosos. You could just be like a whoever, you know, and just like practice at your house, your apartment, your bus stop, wherever you are, where you're just like, hey, I want to do something. And then you stand in front of 20 people and you do it. And then a couple of people are like, yo, that was cool. I'll come back and see you when next time you do it. And then you stand in front of 25 people and then you stand in front of 30 people, you know, and it's just, and that's what it is. Like, you're not doing it to become famous. You're just doing it because you just enjoy doing it. And they both kind of come from the same place with similar roots and similar style because they're from the same place. You know, it's it makes sense that they're related. And then they cross over a lot over the years too.
Yeah.
I
mean, most notably Beastie Boys. They started hardcore.
Beastie Boys
didn't
literally was both.
they? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have your crossovers where there's like a rap group and a hardcore band or something, and there's been plenty of compilations and stuff where you get hardcore bands playing hip hop songs or whatever, or the two of them combining, Onyx and Biohazard, all sorts of shit like that or whatever. But
yeah. I guess we talked about this Aerosmith's not hardcore, but Aerosmith Run DMC thing was awesome.
Well, that was kind of like one of the originals, right? And there was also was it Public Enemy and Anthrax?
Oh yeah.
They were kind of around the same time too. I don't know which one was first though. I think Aerosmith was first, and Run DMC.
Yeah. Although, I'd have to look that one up because the Public Enemy one.
That one's old too, but I think the Aerosmith one might have been first.
Man, do you remember?
I don't give a
Public
shit about
Enemy,
Aerosmith.
Flavor Flav's. No. I actually like Aerosmith.
Of course you do.
You remember Public Enemy, Flavor Flav's reality TV show?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I saw Public Enemy, in 2012. 2011, 2012.
Whoa.
And I was pretty excited. I was never a huge fan. And Chuck D and I did go to the same college. Me, Chuck D, and Baba Booey all went to the same college from Howard Stern.
Baba Booey.
Yeah. And I was really excited to see them because they're legends, and it's I know enough of the songs where I could just be like, this is going to be crazy. And I was so disappointed because Flavor Flav first of all, he didn't come out on stage for 30 minutes, and he was just a bunch of hype guys, trying to warm up the crowd. And then when he came out, he just kept yelling about people to buy his book or some shit.
Yeah, he seems yeah. Did he have his big clock?
I don't remember if he had the big clock. I was sitting really far away, but I just remember he was just yo, buy my book. And I was like, yo, wait, is this a song? I don't know.
Buy my book.
Yeah. And then I came out with that same song a few years later.
Yeah, you did. Oh no. Yeah. No, I love all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a cool history. Any one of those things has a cool history because it's it comes from people just caring about creating.
Yeah. That's what that's a really good point. Is it's more about expression, less about how much money am I going to make from this? Or...
Yeah. There's that Biggie documentary that just came out too that I'd like to see. My wife watched it. She said it's really good.
Yeah, I watched it.
It was good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I love really stuff like that, man. Watching people kind of come from nothing and turn nothing into something, and just strictly on their creativity and their desire to make something happen.
Yeah, it's so interesting too because I'd never seen all that behind the scenes of him.
Right.
And it's whoa, he's it's interesting how you kind of are whoa, he's not the persona that is out there. Right, exactly. That's probably the most interesting part.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right, I got another question for you.
Shoot.
How did you build your confidence?
That is such a hard question to answer, but it's not at the same time. The best way that I've found to build confidence is through failure. And it's always how many times can you fail and get back up and keep going? And after a while, if you fail and it doesn't stop you, then you kind of feel a lot easier about going into things because you're if I blow this one, I'll still be fine. So the more and more you fail and the more you're able to get through failure, the easier the confidence comes along because you're just whatever, I can keep going, it's fine. So it's even the worst failures and stuff, if you make it through those, all they are confidence boosters. And I failed a lot. So the amount of times that I've failed and the amount of times I've known that I've been able to just get through it, that is alone is what's built my confidence, because I know, like, when you see the dark side of things and you see some success, you're able to understand the whole world of what you're doing. So, like, if you put me in a debate with anyone in the design industry on stage in front of a million people, it doesn't matter what the question is, doesn't matter what it's about. If you have that history, and I always feel confident in this too, if you have that history of failing, succeeding, keeping your eyes open, it is the best educator in the world. And I think confidence comes through that education. So that's why it's like, it's super easy, like you just have to fail a lot and just like pay attention to what you did and pay attention to what went wrong, understand it. And the more and more you get it, you realize this industry is not that complicated. Once you figure it out, then you just gotta, sculpt it around the way you want to live.
Yeah, that's funny because it's like the complete opposite of like what every self-help or guru kind of expert in an industry would tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they'll just tell you to keep grinding hard and stuff like that, but they never tell you how.
Right? No, of course not. No, they'll never
like,
tell
they
you
never
how.
tell you what you're supposed to be doing.
No,
because it's just like we live in a world where it's like, oh, you're supposed to just have it all together, and it's like, really what you're saying is you're supposed to just like keep not having it together until you can hold it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I like when people say like, like, this is really hard, how do I get through this? And I'm like, well, if you want it, you'll get through it. If you don't want it, then you should leave and make room for other people who do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I know this is probably true for you, is like, I always think, like there's like money in this industry. Like I can support myself, I can make a living and things like that. And then if I was to actually break down like how much time I spend doing this,
right,
I'm like, whoa, I make like way less than minimum wage. You know what I mean? Like I think about this nonstop. I'm like, I don't know. Like I know you're the same, right? Like I don't think.
Well, it's like, how much is your life worth?
Yeah.
When you think about it like that, but you can't think about it like that, because it's more about the fulfilling nature of what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Than it is what you're getting paid.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. But I guess it's just interesting to be like, I think about this nonstop.
Yeah.
And like a client will ask me like, hey, I want to design for something. And it's like, I know I haven't started that yet, but it's like, I'm already thinking about it, which is like, can you turn that off? The ability to be like, until this is like a for sure thing, until I'm actually working on it, I'm not thinking about it. I guess you do.
I mean, yes and no. It just depends. I mean, I found that everything has a place in my brain. It's just a matter of like, I have to turn stuff off sometimes to get other things done. And then as soon as I'm done with something else, everything comes flooding back in.
Yeah. But do you ever have downtime? Because I feel like I don't have mental downtime.
Downtime.
No, but like, where you're sitting and you're like, I'm eating dinner.
I don't know what downtime is.
I don't need to. I don't need to think about my work.
No, because I have children too. So any downtime I have is consumed by them. So like if I'm eating dinner, it's normally while I'm like helping the kids with their dinner, or like talking to my wife about something, because we haven't talked to each other for the entire day because we're both like running around like maniacs. Or like I don't remember what it feels like to be bored.
Yeah.
I haven't been bored in like 15 years.
Okay, I've also not been bored.
Yeah.
I've been stressed about, oh God, I gotta go do that. And you're sitting there trying to be bored. Yeah. Trying to forget about the things you have to do.
Dude, there are times where it's like I'll finish working at 12:30 at night or something, and I'm used to like working really late, and I'll go like, what do I do with myself now? Like, should I go to bed, or like, should I watch TV or whatever? And while I'm thinking that, I'm like starting something new, and I'm like working, and then before I know it, it's like 3:30.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's another big problem is like, when you do see like some free time, rather than being like, I'm gonna get ahead on this, or I'm gonna like go do this thing that I wanted to
Yeah.
do, or like I used to read books all the time, and now I just like when there's a spare moment, I'm like, I'm gonna work on this project that I want to
Right.
work on. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's another. You're just like filling free time with like more shit that you're gonna like stress about later.
Yeah, there's like there's just you know what the problem is too is there's so many things lined up, so many
Yeah,
ideas. Like forget about work, like ideas, like personal ideas.
yeah,
You know that it's just like I didn't get the chance to do this, so now I have a chance, and I'm like not tired, and I'm just like I'll work on it, like whatever, you know.
yeah. Speaking of, all right, personal projects. This is a good question here.
Mm.
Why do some logo designers have bad personal logos? Some don't even have their own logo.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the same reason why like the what do they say like the shoemaker has like shitty shoes or something. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah, that's a good saying.
you like you spend your time like working on everybody else's shit. By the time you work on your own, you're just like I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's like and then you have to think about yourself objectively from like a third person perspective, which is really hard because you just have to like analyze yourself. Like when you analyze a client, it's like whatever. You analyze them, their business, the way they are, their character, their personality. Call it a day. You go eat dinner and you're done. It doesn't occupy the space in your brain anymore. But when you're
yeah.
branding yourself, it's basically just like a 24/7, you know, week after week after week self critique on everything that's terrible about yourself.
And like what? And you're trying to figure out, well, what do I want? Like,
Yeah,
what's my
right.
direction? And you're like,
What do I
I
look
don't.
like? What do people expect from me? What do I want them to think of me, etc.
Yeah. What's my 5-year plan? What's my 10-year plan?
Yeah.
What's like you have no. There's no way to. It's an impossible task.
It's not though. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you just got to say fuck it and just do something. You just make something, whatever feels good in that moment, that's your logo. Done. You can change it whenever you want because you have that power and you don't have to pay for it.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's it. That's why that's what you know what, and that's why I appreciate some logo designers not having a logo where it's just like their name written out. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate that almost more than them having a logo. I like that it's simple where it's just like it's cool when it's like I'm not the show. The show is the work. You know, I'm
Okay,
the
interesting.
facilitator. You know,
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
But it is weird how because I'll even get caught up in like in the but then are people gonna look at me and be like, there's nothing special going on there? Like,
Well,
what if
maybe
they
for
just
other
see the logo?
reasons.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing. Yeah, you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like that's hard.
Well, it's like I think it's different for a logo designer than it is like a web designer, right? Because if you go to a
Mhm.
web designer's page, you want their site to kind of be flashy because it's their ability, it's their time to kind of show off. But you know, honestly, at the same time, if their website is kind of like well
A
designed,
list of
but
links.
like, well, yeah, if it's something like that, then I feel like it's a cop out almost.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd rather see, at the very least, I'd rather see something that's just like nicely designed, but like pretty simple.
Yeah.
With just like, even if it's like really clean, that's all I'm looking for, just so I can understand the work that the person does. Logo designer, like if you're just like, here's my name written out in a font or whatever, and here's all my work, I'm focusing on the work. I don't really care what your name looks like, unless you come up with
Yeah.
like, you know, like not everything has to be a brand. You know,
Yeah.
some people can just be people. It's okay. You know?
That's a really good point. Yeah. I mean, me and you were just talking about this, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I should just keep it super simple, but then it feels like it does feel like a cop out. It does feel like you're just taking the easy way out to just do a font.
Well, I'll
Or
tell
to
you
just-
this, right? So on the studio website, Contino has a logo. Excuse me. I have a personal website too, just for like when people are searching for me by myself. It's just got my bio, a picture, and my name on it. And my name is just typed out in a font. And I feel great about it. I feel fucking like I love that that's all that it is. You know?
I'll tell you what, that's not completely true because you also have like a sick little illustration of you.
Down at the bottom, but it's not
It's-
like at the top though. It's just like a little. It's a
No,
little footer. It's just a little footer design. It could be anything. It could be like pictures of waves. It could be like a little fox. It could be like literally. It doesn't. It happens to be like a little illustration of me, but it doesn't have to
no,
be
it's
that.
sick. It's sick,
Well, I
and
appreciate that. I
that
do
that
like
little
it.
thing. Yeah, I went to it actually like the other day
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, what did John do?
yeah.
And I went and looked, and I was like, that sells it. The
You
whole
think
thing
so?
is really great, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is great. And then when you see that, you're like, oh, it's very interestingly
I
placed.
do like that. You're right.
Yeah. No,
Forget
you
everything
have
I
a branding element.
Forget everything I said. You got to brand the shit
Yeah.
out of yourself.
If you're just using a font, you're not doing it.
But that website where it's like johncontino.com, it doesn't have work on it or anything. It's just a picture, my name, and a short bio, and that's it. So like that little logo or whatever is the closest thing you're getting to seeing anything that resembles me from a creative standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that, I guess.
Yeah, just do that.
My
I mean,
bio will just say Brent Bates.
if I think if your site is clean enough and the work is big and bold enough where it's just like you can really just like sink your teeth into it, I think that's all you need.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So you're not angry about it. I'm angry about it.
No, I feel good about it. Yeah, there's nothing to be angry about, man. Just like it's cool.
This is something we have to
let
talk
the
about.
work be. Let it breathe, man. Let it breathe.
Yeah, that is. I'm really excited about my new site. That's not really new because that's exactly what I did. As I kind of just put up the work,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well,
And I'm happy about it.
that's the important part, you know? Like it's different
Yeah.
when it's like a studio or an agency or something like that. Like even then you're putting thought into the typeset, you know? But like when it's just yourself, I think that's as long as it's kind of designed well, your name could just be another headline on the page.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We were talking about this recently, and I think we brought this up before, but what do you like when you're listening to things and you're working? You listen to the same things over and over and over.
Yeah.
And so is that like OCD or is that a creative boost?
Oh man, it's I wish I could remember where I saw this, and I think we talked about this, but someone was saying that people who do that, it's like a form of anxiety.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like because it's like because if you're listening to the same thing over and over again, or you're watching the same thing over and over again, it's kind of like a coping mechanism because it's comfortable, and it's just like your anxiety is it depends on the situation you're in, but like the reason you're watching that is because you're using it as a calming effect.
Oh no, because like that does ring true. I think we did bring this up because that's definitely when I pick a movie, if I'm
Yeah.
not working,
Yeah.
and watching a movie, I like to pick familiar,
Mm-hmm.
good time. Like I know I'm gonna watch it and be happy.
It's like almost meditative.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I've talked about this before. Like when we had the old studio, me and my friend Matt, we used to have like a couple of movies that we played over and over again. Like Back to the Future was one of them, to the point where the sounds of Back to the Future, you know, like I didn't even turn to look at the screen that we had mounted on the wall. Like it was just, well, I just looked at my computer. I worked, I listened, and it was just, it might as well have been like a radio play. Like I didn't even see the movie for years, but I memorized the whole movie by heart from every like sound effect, crackle, you know, script, everything. Like I remembered every line of that movie, every sound, everything, just from sitting there. And we would loop it all day because we both found such comfort in it. It was just like a way to kind of like feel relaxed, and it's not depressing. It's a very lighthearted, fun movie, you know, and it's 100% like a coping mechanism without a doubt.
Oh man, that makes me feel bad. It's like, is there some underlying underlying problem that we need to fix?
I mean, yeah, everybody has one.
Are we messed up? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
Can you be a creative person and not be a little messed up?
I don't think so. Or a
No.
little bit like you mean like angry with the world or
Anything. You could be
yeah.
scared, angry, nervous, confused,
Yeah.
right? All those things I think lead to good artwork.
You know what's funny is the one person that I ever seen like arguing that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need to like an artist doesn't need to be like damaged in some way
Yeah.
to create great art. The person that I seen arguing that you don't need that was Chris D'Elia. And now he's through like that whole yeah, he's like clearly a little messed up, you know. And, like it's like maybe there's like some validity to that, you know.
Oh man. Well, you know what? I mean, he was just he wasn't acknowledging his issues.
Yeah. Not that I don't think we definitely don't have those kinds of issues, but I definitely have like an anger towards the world or like
Oh, dude, I got plenty of issues. I got them all sorted and alphabetized. It's fine. It's
fine. Okay, so they're good.
Yeah. Oh, I got plenty. If one's doing okay, I got backups. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, that's funny. But I also feel,
why do you do art if not a release? Why are you artistic? Why are you creative? What do you why do you create if not to share the things inside your head? If your fucking things inside your head are just like, oh, I'm happy and everything's boring, like your shit sucks.
How angry does it make you whenever I see things that are like positive design quotes, like lettered and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I don't know why it makes me angry. Yeah. It does the opposite of what it's supposed to. It's like, you know, like be happy today. I'm like, no, I won't be happy today.
I don't mind positivity. But there's definitely certain versions of that are very irritating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's just like you see them and you just go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that today too. It's like positive change, or well, like change in general, but like to make things positive or to like have any kind of change, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's not like a good time. It's not for anybody.
No, if you want to change the world, that shit's not going to be easy. You know, it's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. You want to change your life, it's going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to be in situations that you do not feel comfortable with. And that's, you know, if you ever want to get anywhere, if you want to evolve, it's going to suck.
Yes.
The evolution sucks.
And that's the scary thing. It's like, you know, you want the world to treat you better.
Right.
Well, it's going to be uncomfortable for you. You know what I mean? To reach a point where the world's going to treat you better.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's like, it's shitty. And I don't know. So I see positive quotes and it's like, yeah, that's not the reality of like I'm happy.
Right.
And like to reach that, it's a lot of work, right? Like not that I would be unhappy, but like to be doing what I'm doing I'm sure you're the exact same way. It's like to do this is like a lot of work.
Right.
And so you're not just like, oh, nice, I'm a designer that wakes up and great things happen.
Well, it's like, yeah, no, I consider myself very lucky. Mm-hmm. I love my life. I have a great family. Yeah. I get to do what I love every day. You know, I have a place to live. It's, you know, I can't complain, you know, but that doesn't mean that I don't have things that I deal with that upset me or make me anxious or whatever throughout the day. I don't have my, you know, that still exists, but like it also took a lot of work and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering to get to this point, even to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like I put myself through all those positions. And the first time I like figured out like, this is what I got to do to make something change was terrifying. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to
Yeah.
put myself in these positions that I've never really wanted to be in. And I feel uncomfortable with it. And it's scary to me and it's whatever. But I did it and something came from it. And I was like, oh, all right. And then it almost doesn't go away. Especially you see a lot of designers who are like introverts or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to go to like a design conference where it's like 3,000 people who just like have social anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to be like, you know what, everybody, it's okay if you all go home right now. It's fine. You can just go home. It's okay. Like, I'm not going to be upset. You're good. Yeah, I want you to be happy,
Yeah. Which is, isn't that the weirdest thing is like being like a communicator in a sense, I guess, and then not wanting to communicate with people.
Yeah.
I found my way to communicate with people. It's through design. It's not through, it's not standing there talking to them.
It's not through other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done talks about that too, where it's just like straight up about anxiety, and I feel like those are the ones that always connect the most with people because everyone's just sitting there, and as creative people, like we're talking about now, everyone has like their issues, and when it's just like 99 times out of 100, you're talking to a designer, they're not an outgoing, performative human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the ones of us that are like that probably because of some kind of coping mechanism.
You guys are faking it. Yeah. No, that's another thing too, is like just our job in general is like you kind of get given a task.
Yeah.
Every job's different.
Yeah.
Every solution's different.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing next week.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And so it's like I know I'll probably, hopefully, still have a job.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm working on.
Right.
I have no idea. And like that can be like that can give me anxiety, not knowing. It's not like you're a mechanic. I'm not downing mechanics, but if you're a mechanic, there's only 900 things that can go wrong on a truck. You know what I mean? Or like whatever. You know what I mean? It comes in and it's like, okay, this is the solution for this.
There's only so many ways a car can break.
Yeah. And I think our job's probably not even as hard as being a mechanic.
Yeah, right.
But I guess just the anxiety of just not knowing all the time.
There's so many anxieties that come with our job, though. Like right now, oh man, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm working on an event for New York City, which will be a big deal, and it's very much something that can be potentially iconic in the future.
Yeah. Yes.
No pressure. No pressure whatsoever. This could be this could be iconic, or it could just be like something people forget about within 2 weeks of the event happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Do you think that, because we kind of brush on this all the time, which is like what makes something a hit or like what makes something last forever? And it's like, can things last forever anymore?
Dude, I don't know, but what's really funny, and this has come up in a few different ways. Like this is the 8-year anniversary of the Incendiary record I designed, that the band that opens the show for us. And it's like, it's crazy that it's been 8 years, number one, because the record is like the exact same age as my daughter. So it's like weird to know that I was like working on that at the same time, she was kind of being worked on.
Yeah.
And they both kind of came out at the same time. But like there's that little icon on the back of the record that's a coffin and it says "Product of New York."
Yes.
And when that record got released, I was out of touch with the hardcore scene because my daughter was being born. I had just moved out of the city. There's like a lot of adjusting that I had to do to life. And by the time I came back to it, that icon had become an iconic mark in the hardcore scene. And I had no idea. Like, people were just like, oh my God, you're the guy who designed that? And I'm like, oh my God, you saw that? You know, like I
You
didn't
have
know that
tattooed.
I didn't know that it had like such an impact and that it became like this mark that everyone knew. And it's like crazy because it was never intended to be that. It was a little fucking whatever that was just like a separator between the song titles or something on the back of the record cover. I don't even remember. And it was just it latched on. And there's how do you make that happen? Like that's what our job is to make that happen over and over again. But like some shit hits and some shit doesn't, and it doesn't matter whether it's good or not. It's like the right time, the right place, the right formula, all coming together simultaneously to become a lasting, visual that people remember.
I guess it's like any opportunity, right? Like you're constantly trying to do that, and eventually, hopefully, everything lines up, and you'll do a few.
Yeah, but are they always by accident? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you try to design something iconic, how do you know that that's just gonna stick?
Is it always by? It's definitely not by accident.
Like a $5 million rebrand where it's just like Coca-Cola says we're gonna do this, and they're gonna go to Lander or whoever to go and do this like crazy rebrand. Like they could spend all this money and do all this research and do 8 million versions and like focus group them and test them and do this and blah 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 blah, and within a month they could just be back to the old logo.
You know what? I think that it's exactly. I guess you've kind of laid it out here, which is you worked on that album cover, and it was like you deciding to put that little thing there.
Yeah.
Going to a focus group, getting 100 people's opinions does not work.
No,
it's almost like why internal design departments don't work. Is like they have like 15 people all deciding what something should be rather than hiring one studio.
Yeah,
where it's going to get passed off to, even if it's a junior designer, one person that's going to decide something.
There was a few years ago where I worked with a pretty legendary clothing brand to try and update their image, and I worked with the owners directly. And it was like one of those where it was just like everyone was just shut out and it was just us. And I was in one of the owners' houses. We were there just like working together. And I came up with some shit that I thought was great. And I thought it was a really great evolution for what the brand would be. They loved it. Everything was great. But they were still a $100 million company. And it was still, at one point, they still had to bring that to the board or the VPs or whatever, and then they started focus grouping it and this, and it's just like, well, this is too much of a drastic change, blah, 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 blah. We're scared we're going to lose customers and whatever. And then it went out the window. And that was that. And, the owners were like, we love it. This embodies the spirit of what the company was when we started it. It feels like it's a true refreshing. It's going to appeal to a younger generation, whatever. We checked off all the boxes. But when it came down to it, the marketing and the focus grouping and all this stuff was just like, this is not right. But like, they you can't possibly know that because it's just like the shit that is just like, that means something. And it's just kind of like the raw brain thought. I think that comes out like the Coca-Cola logo. Like that shit was designed, what, like 1890, 1910 or something like that, the script.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm sure that wasn't designed with focus grouping and marketing and all that shit in mind. It was someone who literally just drew a script logo. Yeah. And it's stuck.
And here it is.
And they kept it, and it's just there, and it's super iconic, and it's not going anywhere. Same with the Nike logo. The Nike swoosh was designed by like a college student for $70.
So I think those two things, though, are two different kinds of iconic.
Yeah.
One is iconic through like a company kind of becoming, like it's more about Nike as a company that you associate with that logo.
Right.
But then there's like the Milton Glaser, I Love New York.
Right.
And it's like where that thing is like, it surpassed what its initial intention was.
Yeah.
Where Nike's logo is not surpassing what Nike's intention is. It's Nike's
I don't know,
intention.
dude. I think it might have.
maybe Nike's a bit. I hate using huge logos like
But
Nike and stuff like that.
those are kinds of the ones that you need to use, though.
I just think that I Love
Like
New York and Nike are two different things.
they are. No, they definitely are because one is representative of a product and a type of mindset,
Yeah.
and I Love New York is a place, a lifestyle. Like, well, Nike is a lifestyle too, I'd say. But like
Mhm.
the I Love New York thing is so much of a like a. You're right. They're both communities, they're both lifestyles, but they're very different types. You know,
It's almost like I Love New York it was iconic almost from the minute people seen it.
yeah, right.
Nike took time to become
Nike
iconic.
had to build, and oh, dude, that's a really good point too, because like we do this with clients all the time, where it's just like sometimes, and you recognize this too, because you comment on it all the time, but like sometimes logos aren't perfect right away,
Mhm.
and it's you can't just look at a logo. It like when a client comes to us to have a logo designed, it's not always like we'll design the final logo, and then they see it and their brains get blown out into fucking rainbows all over the room, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is genius!" Like you
Yeah.
have to build a business into that logo so that the logo actually means something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes.
we
That's a
can
good
give
point.
you the shell, but you got to fill it.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes, so I guess sometimes you can design them a logo that's like, yo, this is going to be somewhat iconic, or
yeah,
this is really there's like some kind of puzzle there where people are going to appreciate this.
right,
What's that rule? Like it's got to be a puzzle that they solve very, very like 3 seconds or something.
yeah,
And then the reward system kicks in or
right,
whatever.
right,
But so sometimes you can do that.
mm-hmm.
But you're right. Most of the time it's like, we're going to give you something that looks good, but you're going to have to add meaning to it.
Yeah,
You're,
yeah, and
you're going to have to be a good company.
and that's what Nike did.
Yes.
You know, I think the I Love New York thing was almost it was the reverse of that. There was so much that was built into it, and then something really simple dropped on top of it, and it was perfect.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Dude, that logo is I mean, it's my favorite logo, probably.
I mean, I grew up with it. I grew up seeing it everywhere, and it just like it meant so much to me as a kid
Mm-hmm.
because it said
It,
everything.
it means so much to me as a designer.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up with it,
yeah,
but I mean, we love Milton.
yep. Big fans.
Are you his? Is he? Is he your favorite designer? One of. He's my favorite.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, yeah. He's definitely one of my favorite designers.
Yeah, in terms of like
I
body
don't
of
know if I
work.
could say who my favorite designer is, but if you like, you take like a Milton and like a Keith Haring,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yes.
I feel like if you take both of those guys, like the two of them together, kind of equal a me in terms of like where I try to be design wise.
Visually, but then like Milton's. Because when I say I love all Milton's work, I actually don't visually like Milton's work,
Yeah,
which might be controversial to say. I don't know.
he still has
Is
awesome
that
work.
no? He does, but I don't love all of it.
Well, I mean, you
I
can't.
think I like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I like Keith Haring's work more visually,
yeah, yeah.
but then like Milton's, I don't know, the genius behind that
Right,
stuff is like
right.
crazy.
Also, I know this is like one of those things that I would like listen back to. When I say you take Milton and Keith Haring and then you get me, that's not. I meant like.
No,
I don't mean
that's
like
where you want to live.
Yeah, I don't need like. It doesn't take two design legends to make a me.
Yeah. Because me, I think I'm more of like a Beethoven.
I'm more of a Jesus Christ and a Muhammad mixed together, I guess.
Yeah. No, you mean like visually. I think that's what you mean, right? Like visually, you want to be like a Keith Haring,
like
but creatively.
craft wise. You know,
Yeah.
like the way that they approach their work. Like I look to those two designers as kind of like I love the loose organic sketchiness of a Keith Haring where it's like bold and iconic and simple and raw and unapologetic, and then kind of like the brilliant, you know, compositional thinking of you know, and like the elegance of a Milton, you know.
Yeah.
And I like both of those, and I try to take those two worlds and slam them together in my work all the time.
It's Yeah, and that's the hardest thing to do, right?
So hard.
Yeah.
Hard,
Oh
yeah,
man.
hardest thing to do. But like the more and more you do it, and the more and more you feel comfortable with letting go and then experimenting. Like right now, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place right now where a lot of the brands that we're working on, I feel good about mixing raw and polished together.
Yeah.
Which I think you can see like on our studio site also, where I feel like there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And actually, like a lot of some of those fashion brands you're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've talked about them.
Yeah.
On here.
Even that architect that we're doing right now too, like it's like so clean and so dirty at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's an architect that like that speaks to him.
Like he's an artist, right?
Yeah. He's an artist, and he designs like in a really clean way, but like the process is very dirty. So like it really makes sense.
Which I appreciate that more when you see somebody like not using AutoCAD or something like that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
or
they do.
Whatever architects use.
Yeah, no, they still use that shit, but like his drawings, I love sitting down with him because he'll take like he just literally has just like a big roll of tracing paper, and he just pulls it out and he just takes a highlighter and he just starts doodling on the table.
Yeah, that's so. Oh, I kind of want that.
It's pretty nice.
Like a big, like a reel of like newspaper kind of a reel that you could
like
just pull and rip
or some shit.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
I wonder if you could do that.
Let me tell you something. When my older daughter was younger, there was an art desk that I bought her from IKEA.
Yeah.
And at the top of the desk was like this wooden dowel and a roll of paper.
That's so awesome.
And all you do is you pull it and you draw and then you cut it when you're done. And it's like for kids with like finger painting and watercolors or whatever.
Yeah.
But like as an adult illustrator or something like that, we should all have that shit.
Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
That
I might have to do
Ugly
that.
Books is dead. I'm getting a roll of paper.
Dude, we just put our own business out of business before it even came out.
Can you imagine? You have it on a roll, and on the other end, it's rolling up.
Oh right? Yeah.
And so you work your way through, and then that roll's done, and you just put it back in the box, and you put the date on it.
And it goes pretty sick. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Except for eventually you have.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
eventually you have so many rolls.
You pull it out on one. But rolls of anything suck.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to show people that later on? You're like somewhere in here.
Dude, it's like a fucking scroll from like an ancient, like religion.
Yeah, this idea really went up the mountain and then just like right off the cliff.
Yo, I'm back on notebooks. Let me give me the notebook. It's fine.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man. Yeah. So, oh man, that's funny. But you know what? I think we made good time on this one.
What are we at?
An hour and 11.
Whoa.
A lot of times what happens is we get to this point, and we talk about this all the time. We get to this point, and then we hit a conversation that we just want to like rip on. And then it's like an hour and a half later, and we're like, yo, why was that podcast 3 hours long?
Yeah, because it took an hour for us to like really get into it.
We'll hit like a topic, and it'll just be like, holy shit, we need to talk about this now. This can't wait until next week. We gotta break into it now. It's vital. Otherwise, the world will end.
Talking about Milton and stuff like that, or like Keith Haring or that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like we can talk about that for a long time.
Oh God, we can talk about that shit forever. Especially like in the way that like it applies to a lot of the stuff that we're working on now.
Yeah,
it's like it's so relevant.
Next podcast, I got to read you something he wrote.
Okay,
Milton, one of his essays.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Too bad he's not around anymore. He'd be the best guest.
Yeah, I mean, he worked right up until the end.
That's
as I guess we all hope to.
A fucking role model.
He put out a book like a few months before he passed away.
Dude, that's like some David Bowie shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, David Bowie. Yeah. That's somebody who like I kind of didn't care about, and then you were like, no, you got to go listen to David Bowie. I knew David Bowie like the iconic songs.
It like almost doesn't even matter what his music was. Just like him as a person was just like such a creative force.
You know what? To just drag this fucking podcast on.
Yeah.
You know who I kind of really like? I just watched the documentary on Bob Dylan, No Direction Home.
Yeah.
And just how he kind of like constantly was evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people would expect something and he would just start doing something different.
I love that.
Yeah. That guy just sold.
Love that.
He sold all of his music to Sony Records for $300 million.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Somebody want to buy all my work for $300 million.
I'll sell it for way less than that. $3.
Am I getting $4? $4 Canadian dollars, please.
Oh, $5.
Yeah, dude, I love that idea. I try to think about that all the time. It's just like, what can I do that's different than what I did before?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
I guess that's what makes iconic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrapping it back up, but that's what makes iconic is that you're not just doing something that you did before. And unfortunately, a client usually is hiring you on your last success or whatever. And so they want that.
I found the greatest challenge to be talking clients out of doing shit that they've seen already.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the job, I think. I think when it comes down to it, that's the job. Trying to get someone to fucking do something different.
Yeah. Because the result's the same. Like what you want to achieve.
Right.
But that's the scary thing is the solution has to be different.
Yeah. And sometimes the solution isn't different, but the process is different. And therefore it makes the solution different. Even though visually it might not look different, but like the thought process behind it is. So then it opens up the doors for everything else to be different too. You know?
Yeah.
I got my brain going now.
Yeah, I know. And I want to keep talking. This is definitely a topic for another podcast.
I don't want to listen to you anymore. I had enough.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. So listen, we're doing the rating and reviewing thing again. We decided we're going to do it. So go on to iTunes and rate and review us. Listen, rate us 5 stars and then say whatever the fuck you want after that. You could put you got brownie recipes. I'll take them. Whatever you got. We're good with it. We got brand by hand books restocked at CantinoBook.com. So if you want to get some of those, and then we're actually using the studio Instagram. Now that we've kind of ruled off, we've sworn off social media. We're actually using it for the studio now. So we got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going up at Cantino Studio. And then if you have questions or comments, the box is still up at nosecast.com. So we redesigned the site a little bit, but it's still there. So you can use that. And then every now and again, I take some DMs and stuff on Instagram. So you could do that too. It's cool. You got anything else to say, Brent?
How about... No, I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
How many? What are we, 48 deep? You haven't had
I got something.
What?
Stay up! A frozen break that paralyzed the truth! Melting till the soul's not freaking through!